wow, did the Montreal Canadiens make an absolute splash at the draft last night. It was literally huge. And honestly, I don't even know where to begin, whether it's Slafkovsky over Wright at first overall. God, that was A+, must-see television in Montreal. God, such a good draft. But then, a little while after that, 2 trades, both involving the Montreal Canadiens, where Kent Hughes, almost like magic, turns Alexander Romanov into Kirby Dach. And I know there's a lot of moving parts. There's the 13th overall pick thrown in there. There's a second round pick thrown in there. Third round pick thrown in there. I know there's a bunch of moving parts with the Islanders especially. But let's be real. At the end of the day, black and white, he turned Alexander Romanov into Kirby Dach. That's what happened here. Okay, there's no sugarcoat. There's no way around it. Alexander Romanov into Kirby Dach, which is why I think this is an absolute steal for the Montreal Canadiens. And I understand what you're thinking right now. A lot of Habs fans, they're going to go look on Kirby Dach's HockeyDB page and they're going to see the stats where it's like, oh boy, in 3 NHL seasons, his highest point total is 26 points in 70 games with the Chicago Blackhawks, and he's 21, and a lot of people are probably thinking, Kotkaniemi 2.0. Well, look, this guy is not Jesperi Kotkaniemi, and you will see that. And I know you're saying, how do you know? How do you know? Look at his stats. Look at his stats and even compare them to Kotkaniemi. It's similar. It's not that. Trust me, this guy is going to make Ken Hughes look like a genius. It's going to be an absolute steal for the Montreal Canadiens coming here as a center, because to me, look, I think this guy is going to be the number 2 center under Nick Suzuki for over a decade now. This guy is going to be a fixture with the Montreal Canadiens, if not 1A, 1B. He might not even be the second line center. He might end up being the first line center for the Montreal Canadiens here. I've seen a ton of Kirby Dach in the WHL. I live in Alberta. I went to a lot of Saskatoon Blades games, and I know a lot of times the WHL and junior hockey doesn't necessarily translate to the NHL, but when the Hawks picked this guy 3rd overall in 2019, he was looked at as an absolute stud. And to me, you could say that yes, he had a chance to show this season. I really don't think he did. I really don't think he had a real chance to show that he's as good as I think he is. And I think now in Montreal, the fire under his belly here, a new core. He has a chance to be a part of this new core going forward with Montreal. I think he's going to really shine and show that he's at worst, in the worst case scenario, second line center for the Montreal Canadiens. I think Kirby Dach, to me, this is an absolute steal. I know it may not look like it when you look at Kirby Dach's stats, but to turn Romanov into Kirby Dach, because look, Romanov was improving. He's a good player. He's a good defenseman. He's going to end up being a very good defenseman for the New York Islanders. But with guys like Arber Xhekaj, with Justin Barron, with Caden Gooley, Matthias Norlinder as well coming through, there's a bunch of defense prospects in the Montreal Canadiens pipeline. It was going to be tough for Romanov. Okay, like he was going to maybe get a roster spot, but you've got some guys in that prospect pipeline with some serious potential there to do some damage, and Romanov would have been on the lower end of that because he's a good defenseman, but I think that Barron and Gooley, especially those two, and maybe even Arber Xhekaj, are going to pass Romanov in terms of potential and in terms of how good they are pretty quick. I really do think so. So this makes a ton of sense. And look, that's how you got to look at it, man. I keep bringing it up because that's a magic trick to me. If you would have offered Romanov for Kirby Dach 1-for-1, would Chicago say yes? Absolutely not. So the fact that you ended up doing that is unbelievable, and they stole Kirby Dach. And for all the people who are going to say, no, he's a bust, Dach is a bust, come back to this video in a year. I'm confident. I will retweet it if I have to. Come to this video in a year. You will see that this trade is an absolute steal for the Montreal Canadiens. To have Kirby Dach wearing the bleu, blanc, et rouge, it's honestly, my jaw dropped. And honestly, for a second there, when Gary was saying, oh, Montreal trades their picks to the Chicago Blackhawks for, I was half expecting the next words to come out of Gary's mouth to have been Jonathan Toews or Patrick Kane. I know that makes no sense because the Habs are going through a rebuild, but I don't know why. That was just what I was expecting. But the fact that he said Kirby Dach, who was looked at to be the future of the Chicago Blackhawks, the future cornerstone of this team after Kane and Toews, my jaw I dropped. I couldn't believe it. He's only 21 years old and so much upside. He just needs to have a breakout season and then he'll be off to the races. He's going to be, I think, a great two-way center, a responsible two-way center who can put up, I would say 60-ish points per season, 70 if he's having a really good year, but he's going to be great on the defensive side of the puck as well. This is the type of guy that, in my opinion, you win with. The type of centerman that you will win with. Also a very good leader. I think this is such a good pickup for the Montreal Canadiens, and I'm so excited for this. Truly, it's awesome. Obviously, you know what I want you to do. I want you to go in the comments and let me know what you think about Kirby Dach. What do you think about the return, and what do you think about Romanov leaving for Kirby Dach, essentially? Let me know in the comments down below what you think. Like, comment, subscribe, the whole deal. You know what to do. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.